Good morning and welcome. This is the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Well, President Dissanayake says that steps will be taken to curb the prevalent rice crisis as well as coconut shortage in the country. He made this statement at a public meeting that was held in Kakiraba yesterday. And this morning we delved deeper into what exactly the president had to say in this regard. And meanwhile, the cabinet has also granted approval for the establishment of crime divisions on a provincial level. We have more details on this coming right up. We also have an update concerning the conflict that broke out in the Gaul prison yesterday. And also, if you are an astronomy enthusiast, this morning we have some important news coming right up for you. And in news overseas, the United States has imposed a series of retaliatory measures against Colombia. We have all the details. Stay tuned with us. Let's move on to the top local story for this morning. President Kumara Dissanayake says that a total of 5 billion rupees has been allocated for the government to purchase paddy. Addressing a public meeting in Kakiraba, the president assured that a certified price for paddy will also be announced soon. President Dissanayake acknowledged that there is a shortage of coconuts in the country as well and noted that about 3 billion coconuts were harvested annually prior to this shortage. He noted that, however, only 2,560 million or 2.56 billion coconuts have been produced last year. The president said that to tackle this shortage, the government has planned to cultivate coconut in 40,000 acres in the northern province. And he added that plans are in place to provide the farmers with all necessary facilities, including fertilizer, for this purpose. And also speaking about the prevalent rice crisis in the country, President Dissanayake claimed that the main reason behind this is the lack of data on the amount of rice that is being produced as well as consumed in the country. He also went on to note that the public has been informed that anyone who gathers stocks of rice or runs a rice mill should be registered under the government and that they should report to the government the exact amount of rice stocks that they possess on a weekly basis. President Dissanayake also said that a total of 5 billion rupees has been allocated for the government to purchase paddy from the farmers. Well, he also added that the private sector will be granted space in government warehouses to store stocks of rice that are purchased by them as well. And he said that these stocks of rice will be distributed across the island through Lanka Sirasa branches as well as other outlets. He also added that the government will not let another rice crisis occur in the country and that immediate steps will be taken to solve the existent issues. Now, meanwhile, the cabinet has approved the establishment of crime divisions at a provincial level. Minister of Public Security Anand Vijaypala said that these divisions are being set up with the aim of combating organized crimes in Sri Lanka. He further mentioned that the establishment of these divisions will take place within the next 2 weeks. He further noted that necessary steps are being taken to obtain approval from the National Police Commission for the appointment of officers to these divisions. Currently, such divisions have been established only in the southern and western provinces of the country. And these crime divisions will also play an active role in combating drug trafficking and the drug menace that is quite a serious issue in the country as of now. The police have said that through the establishment of crime divisions, it is expected that they would closely monitor and take swift action to suppress underworld criminal activities. Now, 4,020 individuals have been apprehended through a special crime prevention operation that was implemented for a period of 13 days in the country. Police media spokesperson SSP Buddhika Manatunga says that the Sri Lanka police launched a special crime prevention program on the 12th of January. He added that suspicious individuals and vehicles were inspected at roadblocks across the country, and this led to the arrest of 249 individuals who were evading the law. The police media spokesperson added that 4,020 individuals who had been avoiding active arrest warrants were also captured. Meanwhile, SSP Buddhika Manatunga also spoke about the repatriation of several underworld criminals who were operating from abroad. He said that 4 such criminals were being repatriated under the extradition law. He went on to note that officials from the police special task force will be deployed in areas where shootings have been commonly reported. Now, a special team has been appointed to investigate the clash that broke out between 2 groups of inmates at the Galle prison yesterday. Prison spokesperson Gamini Disanaika says that this team will be led by the Assistant Superintendent of Prisons. He went on to note that the situation in the Galle prison has by now returned to normalcy and that 4 inmates were injured as a result of the clash yesterday. They have been admitted to the Galle National Hospital for further treatment. The Department of Prisons says that the Chief Jailer's office was also damaged during this clash. Sri Lanka police said that the clash resulted from an argument that had escalated out of control. Let's move on to your weather-related news for this morning. The Disaster Management Center says that over 92,000 individuals have been affected by the prevalent adverse weather conditions. And the Met Department says that showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the Uva and southern provinces and in the Ampara as well as Batticaloa districts. A few showers are likely in the north central, northwestern and central provinces and in the Trincomalee district. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces during the evening or night. Cloudy skies can be expected over the southern half of the island as well. Fairly strong winds of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the eastern slope of the Central Hills and the northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Matale and Hambantota districts. Misty conditions can also be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts during the morning. We're also issuing an advisory for strong winds and rough seas. The Met Department says that the sea areas off the coasts extending from Colombo to Mana via Putlam and from Matara to Potuvil via Hambantota will be rough at times with strong gusty winds up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. The naval and fishing communities are requested to be attentive in this regard. Let's move on to more local news for this morning. The first term for the year 2025 for government and government-approved schools commences today. The Ministry of Education says that the first phase of the first term of government and government-approved Sinhala and Tamil schools will be in effect until the 14th of March. Meanwhile, the first phase of the first term of Muslim schools will commence today and continue until the 28th of February. The Ministry of Education says that all schools should conduct school for 210 days each year. The ministry noted that, however, due to the number of holidays this year, it will not be possible to cover this number of days. Accordingly, all government and government-approved schools as well as Pirivan will be conducted only for 181 days this year. 25 government holidays have been declared for the year 2025. Like I said before, if you are an enthusiast of astronomy, if you enjoy looking at planets, stars, this morning we have some interesting news for you. Professor Chandana Jayaratne, the Director of Astronomy and Space Science Unit at the Department of Physics of the University of Colombo, says that a rare planetary alignment is observable these days. He says that the planets Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn and Uranus can be observed in this alignment. The professor added that Venus, Saturn, Jupiter and Mars are visible to the naked eye with sufficient brightness. Professor Jayaratne noted that Uranus and Neptune can be viewed with the aid of a telescope. According to Professor Jayaratne, this planetary alignment will be visible for approximately 90 minutes after sunset until the 20th of January. Let's move on to news overseas for this morning. Our first news item concerns intense sanctions as well as tariffs that have been imposed by the United States on Colombia. President Donald Trump said yesterday that he will impose sweeping retaliatory measures on Colombia, including tariffs and sanctions, after the South American country turned away 2 U.S. military aircraft with migrants being deported as part of the new U.S. administration's immigration crackdown. Now, these aircraft were turned away on Saturday, and Colombia, the third largest U.S. trading partner in Latin America, swiftly responded, threatening a 50% tariff on U.S. goods. The country's leftist president, Gustavo Petro, later posted on X that he directed his trade minister to increase tariffs on U.S. imports by 25%. Colombia are the second Latin American nation to refuse U.S. military deportation flights. Trump's punitive action demonstrated his more muscular U.S. foreign policy and his renewed willingness to force countries to bend to his will. Trump wrote on Truth Social that Petro's refusal to accept the flights jeopardized U.S. national security. The retaliatory measures include imposing 25% tariffs on all Colombian goods coming into the U.S., which will go up to 50% in 1 week, a travel ban and visa revocations on Colombian government officials, and emergency treasury, banking as well as financial sanctions. Trump said he would also direct enhanced border inspections of Colombian nationals as well as cargo. He wrote, quote, "These measures are just the beginning. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to the acceptance and return of the criminals that they forced into the United States," unquote. Let's move on to our second international news item for this morning. Allow me to shift your attention to South Korea now. South Korea's prosecutors indicted impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol yesterday on charges of leading an insurrection with a short-lived imposition of martial law on the 3rd of December. Yoon's lawyers criticized the indictment as the worst choice made by the prosecution service, while the main opposition party welcomed this decision. The charges are unprecedented for a South Korean president, and if convicted, Yoon could face years in prison for his shock martial law decree, which sought to ban political and parliamentary activity as well as control the media. His move set off a wave of political upheaval in Asia's fourth largest economy and a top U.S. ally, with the Prime Minister also impeached and suspended from power, and a number of top military officials indicted for their roles in the alleged insurrection. Yoon's lawyers said in a statement, quote, "President's declaration of emergency martial law was a desperate plea to the public over a national crisis caused by the opposition getting out of control," unquote. The prosecutor's office did not immediately respond to requests for a comment in this regard. Now, anti-corruption investigators last week recommended charging the jailed Yoon, who was impeached by Parliament and suspended from his duties on the 14th of December. Let's move on to sports news for this morning. The second match of ICC Women's Under-19 T20 World Cup 2025 Super 6 stage will take place today between England and New Zealand. England has currently secured the second place on the points table, while New Zealand is in 5th place. The match is scheduled to begin at 8 a.m. Sri Lankan time in Sarawak, Malaysia. All matches of the tournament are being broadcast on TV1 and can also be streamed online on www.sirasatv.lk. Right? Well, that's a wrap of this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. You can join us tomorrow as well right here on TV1 at 7 a.m. for more of the very latest. Until then, take care. Have a wonderful day ahead.